Hello everybody, I'm Storm here. Welcome back to Kerbal Space program. In the last episode, we got the storage module that I had designed hooked up to the mining base. There was a bit of a physics glitch there, but it didn't cause too much serious damage, just a little bit knocked out a solar panel. So I was able to hook it up and get it working, so that's good. But, not exactly how I plan to do it, but, well, you do what you can. And, my plan has been, with that whole thing, to get kind of the materials processing going and get some sort of, like, in-space construction going where we can build and launch ships directly from space. Would be nice. But the further I go here, and the more and more I try to find the parts and functions that I need, the more I'm thinking that the Umbra Space Industries mod, which is what I'm using for this, which hasn't been updated in a while, is not as compatible with the current versions of everything as I would like. Because as I mentioned a while ago, is that we have updated to the newest version of the game, and so I think certain things are not quite working. So what I might end up having to do with that base is to use it for just basic mining to get materials to make fuel as opposed to manufacturing, and just use it as a refueling system for our other, more traditionally assembled vehicles. So, we'll have to see. So, for today, what I wanted to do is, I'm looking at our science stuff. I want to go around to our other ongoing operations and just get a good check on them. I want to also see what our transfer windows look like, because there are a couple of more projects I'd like to get going, if timing is good for them. And, yeah. Just keep on working and seeing what we can do. Alright, so I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the Kerbal 1 station, which currently has the ballista dock to it. And where are we? There it is. So this might grind to a halt here. We'll have to see. That moon base should be self-sufficient. It should be self-sufficient. So I could probably just leave it alone for a while and see how that goes. All right, there we are. Now, I was doing nuclear reprocessing here, if I remember correctly. Okay, let me just check the fuel levels. Enriched uranium, enriched uranium. You have a bunch of depleted stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and transfer waste. Cannot transfer to a running converter. Okay, we need to stop reprocessing. Okay. And it's very hot. Okay. So can I transfer the waste to a... Yes, okay, there we go. So now you have depleted fuel. I can go ahead and transfer the fuel from there to there. Part must be below 450 Kelvin transfer. Well, go ahead and continue to reprocessing. We have plenty of fuel in these reactors for any mission that we want to engage in. So, that's fine. Alright, the other thing we want to do while we're here is go ahead and transmit the science. It still has just tons of data on board. Alright, so... let's see. Can I take 80 data? I think I can take 80 data. Process in the lab. He's wanting me to transfer nuclear fuel. Okay. All right. I think here's what we're going to do. I think we're going to go ahead. I mean, this thing is topped off. It has all the fuel it needs. We've transferred off the depleted uranium. We still have tons and tons of enriched uranium available. So, I think it is time we went ahead and undocked here. And we are also full up on monopropellant. Alright, speaking of monopropellant, let's give this a bit of a nudge. Gonna keep pushing this away. That'll do. .7 meters per second. All right. A little bit of time acceleration here. We're going to go ahead and move this to a new orbit. Okay. Oh no, we don't want to do that. $16 signs per day. I really need to get this, like, out of that 2-kilometer zone of that thing so that we can actually get the performance improved a little bit. There we go. Alright, there's prograde. I just want to elevate this to a bit of a higher orbit. And leave it parked. We are going to have to do a crew exchange. Potentially, what do we currently have? We have a pilot and we have a scientist. We need to bring up another pilot and an engineer to bring this up to a full strength crew. For an actual mission. And we also need to bring some sort of mission specific landers or other gear that we're going to need to bring along. So we will have to see. All right, I think we're oriented well enough. So let's go ahead and... Oh, we're going to need to fire up the reactors. Let's get those reactors on. Done. All right, let's go ahead and... I don't want to do too much. Just about maybe there. Should be good. I'm gonna make sure that it's on an open orbit and isn't gonna potentially collide with anything. There we go. All right, so go ahead and orient to the maneuver node. Ooh, and we can shut down those reactors. Now, while that's maneuvering into place, let's take a look at our transfer window planner, because there are, I think, 3 bodies, well, 3 major areas we haven't gone to yet as far as manned missions. I don't think we've done Dres. I know we've done an unmanned probe past Dres, but I don't think we've actually landed there. Elu and Eve. Now, we could send another mission to the Joule system, because there's plenty of moons over there that we can take a look at, but we'll think about that. Alright, so if we were going to go to Eve, when is our transfer window? Ideal transfer window is not for a while yet, Eve. Alright, so it's currently year 21, day 423. We would depart year 23, so we're 2 years out from that potential transfer window. That's a very, very narrow window right there. Alright, what about Dres? Alright, we have a transfer window year 22, day 363. That's about a year out. Alright, and Elu, a little less than a year out. Year 22, day 286 for a departure window. All right. We're going to need to fire up those reactors again. Yeah. Should have just left them on. Alright, I got to take a look at the Arbalest, which is still on its way back home from Joule. When its maneuver is actually going to be, and when makes sense, and where we're going to be heading next. You know what? We're not going to use the maneuver node planner. Just hold it there, and let's just warp over. This will be good enough. Alright, hold the maneuver. Doesn't need to be precise. And we're down to... doesn't matter. Go ahead and fire those engines up. Good enough. All right, shut the reactors down. There we go. All right, now that's parked kind of where it's going to sit for a bit. And now we need to head over to... What are you? Nuclear pulse testbed. Yes. This guy needed to get home as well. That's the one that flew by Dres. Right. Okay. Note in 1 year, 342 days, 5 hours. Oh, that's just a inclination change. Alright, well, I think we'll be waiting to go to Dres. Because we want to get this thing back first. Oh yeah, and this solar panel's actually broken. Alright, so then let's switch over to you. Not Jewel. The Arbalest. Switch to. Alright, here we are. Those reactors are off, right? No, they're on. I think because they need to be on to provide power, because if we don't do that, we're not getting enough sunlight to provide power. Core time, 3 years. We have lots of enriched uranium here, so we can keep those going. We just have to cool them down. This thing just needs to start getting close enough to the sun to be able to run off of its solar panels. That's the... Note, in T-minus 391 days, 2 hours, and 2 minutes. Alright, so what was that plot here for Elu? We're pretty close to year 22. But then there's another transfer window here. Day 348. Year 22, day 348. How about Eve? Year 23, day 24. And then we aren't going to have another transfer to Elu for a while. year 25. There's going to be an even better transfer window in year 25 to ELU. Because this is the one that's coming up over here. This is the best option. But it looks like we're going to be getting a really good one. A little bit longer travel time, but in terms of delta V, much better. There. This is still going to be our best chance for Eve. Just time of flight. No. Just trying to think about this. Year 23, day 27. That's fine. Okay, so I guess we'll do Eve. We'll do Eve next. I would really like to get to this maneuver. So, let's warp. Let's give it 50 days. All right, let's see. How much science did I generate here? Lots. Transmit science. $16 science per day, so... Come on. Transmit the science. Alright, now I'd like to go see... what we're doing here. Alright, let's go over to the ballista, switch back to that. Want to get all this science transferred and see what we can unlock. Then I gotta start thinking about how we're gonna create a lander for Eve that will be able to return. Eve has a very thick atmosphere, so landing on Eve is really easy. With parachutes and things. Getting back into space? Not so much. That is going to be the tricky bit. All right, and then actually before we 12:44, we need to review our data because we still have lots of data. Yeah, that'll go. The lab already has this data, apparently. That's too much, that's too much. Alright, well, if the lab already has this data, we'll just go ahead and transmit that. We'll go ahead and transmit that. And transmit that. Huh. Alright, well, we'll just let that churn away. We need to switch over here as well, because there's also a science lab on this station, which is still processing a bunch of old data as well. Alright, so there's our science lab here. It's got 64 science on board. Go ahead and transmit it. There's a whole bunch of data here. Why does it say that they're starving? I might have to take a look at that. Everybody else is fine. This thing's got 3 years worth of life support on it. Let's see what's going on with that, but I'll do that off screen. That whole moon base has just been a bit of a disaster. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with that. Well, I got 6 days to worry about it, if that truly is the correct timers. Alright, we now got 1,700 science. Advanced logistics. Now, what we're going to need more is, like, automation. That's not really what we need there. Relay antenna, no. High-tech electrical systems. Again, I don't think that's really all that necessary right now. Magneto inertial fusion engine upgrade. Interesting. Experimental nuclear power. Fusion power. Stellarator fusion reactor. Spherical tokamak. Fusion rockets. Magneto inertial fusion engine. Colossal rocketry, there's nothing in there. High power nuclear propulsion. Extreme fuel storage. Antiproton Bose-Eisenstein condensate. Orbital megastructures. I'm not sure that's really what we're gonna need. Funnily enough, ducted fan engines. Ducted fan engines. What I could really use might be electric propeller driven engines. Experimental aircraft engines. Halberd engine. High altitude liquid breathing engine with rotating detonation. It can run in multiple air breathing or rocket modes, supporting fuel types including hydrogen, methane, kerosene, hydrazine, and oxidizer, liquid oxygen, oxidizer, and HTP. Intake air. Phoenix thermal aerospike turbo ramjet. Unlike a more conventional engine, this nozzle requires a heat exchanger used to drive energy directly from the reactor's thermal power. The thrust and specific impulse are determined by the core temperature and power output of the attached reactor, which must be directly attached to this engine. The engine's thrust is very low at rest, but increases rapidly at high speeds in atmosphere. Interesting. But I don't think that's going to serve us what we're going to need. Besides, I think we're going to need fusion power. Photovoltaics are not what we're going to need. Radiators, advanced logistics, automation. Long-term science tech. Disk transceivers. Infrared telescope. Phased array laser aperture upgrade. Advanced actuators. Specialized plasma propulsion. Repulsor. Pulsed inductive thrusters. Magnetron. Plasma engines. Thrust. Yeah, these are vacuum engines. I think I'm going to go ahead and unlock fusion reactors. Let's go ahead and do that. And then I'll need to start thinking about designs here and how things are going to work. So, what kind of engines are we going to want? Are we going to want something that can fly in Eve's atmosphere? Because if we can get to higher altitudes before we engage any sort of rocket engine, it would be better. Let me look something up here. I was just looking up some stats on Eve and what type of engines kind of work best. And what I'm thinking is that we're probably going to want aero spikes of some description because of Eve's atmosphere. So, if we look at what we've got. Prop fans. They require liquid fuel and intake air. Same thing with these turbo fans. Anything that needs an intake air is not going to work. If it runs off of just pure electric charge, then it's fine as an engine. As like a propeller-driven engine, an atmospheric engine. Atomic aerospike. What does this uses LH2? It uses liquid hydrogen as a propellant. Right. Multi-purpose fuel tank cluster. Interesting. What are we looking at? 2.94 thrust to weight with a delta V of 1100. That's not really going to work there, is it? What about a bigger tank? About you. Thrust to weight from Eve. of 1.41 with a 5,800 meters per second of delta V. But now we're talking about a mass of 61 tons and just fuel tank and engine. So... 8,000 meters per second at delta V. Thrust to weight ratio of 0.88. That doesn't work. Thousand meters per second at delta V. 4,000 meters per second at delta V. We're already at 47 tons. Looks like we're going to need around 7,500 meters per second at delta V to get into orbit from the surface. Unless we can get to higher altitudes before we can turn on the engines. Alright, let's experiment here. Let's experiment. This is going to be a fairly interesting problem to solve, and I probably won't be able to do it today. And I'm probably going to have to end this episode here pretty soon. But let's at least just see what we can come up with here. I'm going to need a mass of some description. Maybe something small, like this. With an engine on it. Oh, I'm also going to need... batteries. Now, do I have any type of engines that run on electricity? Prop engines. See, those are blades. Electric fans. Electric charge or cryo engines, liquid fuel engines, aluminum engines. No. Aluminum pneumatic fuel feed engine? No. Solid hydrogen? No. Fusion pellets. Ultra dense deuterium. Thermal engines. Servos, hinges, pistons, rotors, and controllers. Heavy rotor. Ooh, that's what we want. A large, low-torque, high RPM electric motor. The smaller head allows it to masquerade as a medium rotor. Don't be fooled. Large, low-torque, but high RPM. Come on. There we go. I'm curious to see. Well, something like this may be able to lift. And so I need what? Those fan blades, right? Yeah, those are too short. Those are very much too short. All right. Now we will want it to rotate. I guess you'd want it to rotate clockwise, right? Rotation direction is clockwise. All right, we're gonna go test rotor. I think this is what we're gonna need to do. Is we're gonna need some sort of rotor-based system that we can land. Well, then when we land there, we can deploy, and then try and lift the vehicle up, running off of just electricity until we get to a high altitude, then engage some rocket thrusters to get us the rest of the way. This is going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and just give this thing a test, and let's just see what happens when we turn it on. I have to figure out how these things are actually going to work as far as, like, actually flying a vehicle. Okay. So. Motors engaged. Brakes off. So, does it work on the same kind of like throttle system? No. Main throttle. Let's see. Engage motor drive. Oh, is it like W? We hit the brakes. Okay. I'm not sure what actual control it is. I think I may... No, we still have electric charge. Current RPM. Right, so how do I spin it up? Why can't I... There we go. Weird. What spins it up? I think it was this torque limit. But even at 100%, even at 460 RPM, it isn't producing enough. You know, what if I change this direction? That's what it does. All right. All right, let's reset it. Let's reset it. I might have to look more into how the rotor controls actually work, if we're gonna do this. But I might also need more like aerodynamic technology. You'd think it would spin that direction. But you know, let's just see what happens. Yeah, that's not doing anything either. What you would do is you turn the torque limit up, and then you would say either the motor is off or it's on. What I might have to do is try something different here. Recover the vessel. It obviously isn't producing enough thrust to lift. It's not producing like more than 1.0 thrust to weight ratio. Let's see if it's actually doing anything. Let's go to the spaceplane hangar. let's open. This guy, let's load that in. Whatever. Okay. Put it on its side and let's give it some wheels. And, we'll need something a little bit, large landing gear, medium landing gear. Well, let's give it some wing surfaces, I guess. I don't need it to fly. I just need it to move. Would be good. Alright, can I extend these? Let's see. No. Do we have like adjustable landing gear? That's what we're looking for. It'll do. Strut extension. Does that get all the way to the ground? No. But I can do this. And that will clear the ground. And then we just put another one of these on the front. Front extension. All right. Save it. Let's put it out on the runway and let's see what happens when we turn it on. Oh, it's unbalanced. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. And it's also backwards. Weird. Yeah, I guess this would be the front. Okay. Where's that center of mass? Not sure why that's showing up as unbalanced, but hey. If we threw like a small rocket engine on the back of it. Not that small. Need to be heavier than that. Alright then. What about And then a small rocket engine. Like maybe a toroidal aerospike. There you go. Where's the center lift, by the way? Center lift is there. Why is it pointing down? Well, whatever. It just needs to roll. This is thrust weight of 131 with a delta V of 1100. Alright, that is a little bit... Oh, it's because this is leaning forward a little bit. Alright, whatever. Let's see what we do when we, Oh, torque. I see. Let's just try something. Revert to launch. Let's just give it a little bit of torque. A little bit of torque. It still might be too much, but we'll see. Might have to set up counter-rotating rotors. Just a little bit. RPM. All right, something is not working there. I'm gonna have to experiment more with it, but I think I'm out of time for today. So we'll go ahead and stop here, and I'll play around with it more, and we'll come back next episode and see what I can come up with. All right, but for now, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.